Hey guys, iKailaKai here, and there's been some whispers about a very strong deck at OP09. I had to give this deck a test, and I tried it. It's really strong. So this is going to be a video showcasing, of course. Oh shit. Redpurple Luffy. Now, Redpurple Luffy might surprise some people because it may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think about buffs this set. The set was mainly focused around Purple Black Luffy. However, there's a card that only Straw Hats can use. Gum Gum Giant. Gum Gum Giant is basically Queen's on-play effect and Blast Breath mixed together in one card, so therefore it's -2. So you get plus 4,000 trash card and draw 2 cards on counter, and it's absolutely insane. Therefore, just because of this card, decks like Purple Luffy, Purple Black Luffy have a chance in the meta, but I think of the 3 that I've tested so far, this is the strongest. Other cards that we have in the new set are the Secret Rare Luffy. Secret Rare Luffy, because our leader ramps from 8 to 9 for free, we get to play this very fast, and it gives us a card on draw as well as having Rush. And the extra draw though gets very significant because RP Luffy, a deck that doesn't usually have that many resources, suddenly has free card draw off of their Rush 9 cost, and they can draw 2 cards off of Giant, as well as the other normal cards such as Queen. And then there's a final card that Redpurple Luffy can use exclusively from the new set that's very strong, which is of course Beckman. When you're going second, your curve tends to go from 4 to 7, and having more good 7 costs to play is very solid. I prefer Beckman over Sanji because they do more or less the same thing, and Beckman's just a bit easier to use in general as it also trashes the opponent's card. But Doflamingo is, I think, the strongest deck in OP09 at the moment. So I'm going to be testing against Doflamingo and talk about my moves and what I think about during the game, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. I think Redpurple Luffy wants first in basically every matchup, but I'm pretty confident, although this matchup's not winning, I will say. I think it's close to 50-50. I'm going to take second, and if I can win, then you guys will see the power of this deck. If we were going first, maybe there's a world where I mulligan this. It's still pretty decent. But going second, we have this, into this, into this, and this can also search what we would play after this. So I think it's totally fine to keep this. These are also just fine in the late game as well. So I'll keep. For Doflamingo as well, Red Rock is important to deal with RP Luffy's big things. There's a lot of big things in this meta, so it's been fitting into a lot of decks recently. I don't run the 1 cost Perona, so there isn't really something that I need to mulligan for. We have Jinbe, so I think this is good to keep. Okay, じゃあお願いします。Doflamingo, 1 ドン, and then enter. 1 ドン, Nani? And then search 5. And okay, well, we missed. We don't miss too often. That hurts. Enter. Now, because RP Luffy's 6,000 power, if I were to hit with 5 and play Doflamingo, I can't actually hit with 5. So I am debating to just hit with 7,000 and then pray for the best. So let's just go with this. 7,000 liter effect. Good. Mihawk. 7,000 liter, take. Okay. Enter. 4 don. Mr. 2. On play, get 1 don active, and then 7,000 Mihawk. Yep. Enter. I kind of want to save this Hancock for when I can put the rested don on a character perhaps that's 5,000, so that I can make more 6,000s to hit the leader. So for now, I think the best thing to do is to play these 2 together. So we'll have 1 floating don, so 6,000 liter. Plus 1,000 counter. 4 ドン. Jinbe. On play. Moria. And then enter. 7 ドン. Kid. Then Kid's on play effect. -1 don. And then give my leader plus 1,000 until the start of my next turn. 7,000 leader. Okay. And then enter. Okay. Usually on this turn you play a 4 cost. You hit with 7,000 with leader. And you hit with everything else. But if I put 2 long on my leader, it's basically the same as if I were hitting 5,000 because Luffy's 7,000. But what I can do, because I saved this Hancock, is to put the rested don on Moria, so therefore I can make 7 and 7 with here and here, and then try to pressure like that. I think that's best because it lets me reorder as well. Hancock, check 3. This order to the top, and then rested don on Moria. 7,000 liter? Well, it's going to be 7,000, 7,000 no matter what. Even if it's 8,000, I have a 2k, so I'll take this. 7,000 liter, and then effect, play Weevil. Weevil on play effect, draw 1 card. 1,000 counter. Enter. Okay, pray with me. That's usable. I'm at 8 dong, so leader effect. Get 1 dong for free. Doflamingo doesn't have a way to deal with 5 costs regardless, so I'll play Queen first. 5 don't, Queen, and then effect. Don't -1, and then I'll draw 2 and trash 1. I'll just trash the Gatling. 8,000 into Moria, and then on attack, -1, make my leader +1,000. I think that these 6,000 power things are very important to winning this match, so I will try to defend one at least, and then see where that gets me. TK 1K. I want to be pretty confident in my ability to take the board, and I don't think there's any reason for me to leave 2 Gum Gum Giant, so 9,000 Moria. Okay. Well, one thing we can do now is get rid of 7 cost Kid with Red Rock and then use our leader ability. In that case, we can only hit once this turn, so I'm not sure if that's actually the right play. We have 3 cost Doflamingo, and Luffy has trouble getting over blockers. So if we do that, leader 7, leader effect, 1, 2, and then we have 1 extra though. So we can do 7, 7, 8 Doflamingo and make our board 5. I think that's probably best. 7,000 leader, 2,000. 7,000 leader, 2,000. Doflamingo. Reorder 5 cards. The best target to play right now is Moria because we already have a full board. We don't need to play Jinbei. So I'll play Moria into draw Crocodile next turn, into potentially playing Jinbei off leader effect. 3 long on leader, 8,000 leader, and then effect. Flip out Moria, a 2,000 counter. This is not ideal. Leader effect. Attack Moria, copy Weevil, so 7,000 Moria. Yep. 8,000 Hancock, and then effect -1 dull. Let's go 2,000, 1,000. 8,000 Hancock. Block. 8,000 Hancock. Yep. Enter. So I think now I might be forced to use this. I kind of don't want to rest this because if I just hit with 1,000, then he hits it back and I have less and less board. So I think the best thing to do here is actually just to Red Rock and then 8,000 leader with this, and then wait until I can make my board a little bit bigger to hit harder. 6 don't. Red Rock Kid. 8,000 leader, and then effect, play Jinbei, and then Jinbei effect, play Weevil. Weevil effect, draw 1 card. I'm going to use Giant just so I can cycle my deck a little bit more. So 1 don't, Giant, -2 don't, and then I'll trash 1 card, and then plus 4,000, and then I get to draw 2 cards. Okay, we got it. End turn. Sorry, I almost forgot to bunk it, but this is a little bit awkward because if I hit 5 here, and then he blocks, and then I hit 6 here, then he'll take it, but then my stuff will be rested, and I don't really love that. So I definitely should have started from this attack before this. So I will say it's the mistake from Doflamingo, but in a normal world, you start with 5,000 into this, and they can't really afford to rest this because they can hit into it. So let's just say that this was at the start of the turn, 5,000 into Bongore. And then in that case, I would take it. Sorry guys, I kind of tunnel visioned. Okay, one thing is it's a bit dangerous to play this now. If we still had 7 cost Kid, I would have loved to have played this last turn. But we didn't have this last turn when we had 7 cost Kid and our leader's back to being 6,000 power. I think we need to start kind of pushing the opponent a bit. So 9 don't, new gate, and then plus 2,000 power leader, 8,000 leader. Okay, take, leader effect, +1 don't active, and then enter. We're actually in a bit of an awkward spot now because there isn't really anything good to play out of hand. I can sacrifice the Weevil by just hitting 8,000 2 times and then playing another Weevil to sort of just refresh the board state. Maybe that's best. Because I think that hitting at lower powers probably hurts Luffy more. 8,000 leader, 2,000, 8,000 leader, and then effect, flip over. Ooh, we missed. Well, 8,000, I'll use Gum Gum Giant, -2 don't, and then trash 1 card. Okay, 4 don't, leave it, and then Weevil on play, draw 1 card, and then enter. We are still alive, and I can't believe that all of my top end was stuck together in my deck. New gate, plus 2,000 to the leader. I heard that that's important to say in the West. 8,000 leader. Okay, the attacks are going to get really, really bad soon, so I think I should defend this. 2k, 2k, 10k leader. Hi. God damn, there's so many Weevil. But so here's the issue, is that I actually might die next turn, and I don't have lethal, not even close. What I can try to do is play Sengoku to find a blocker, or I can play Moria to guarantee pick up a blocker, but that's a bit expensive. Search for a blocker. 5 cards? Well, we didn't get it. 2,000 counter? Moria. Let's pick up Hankoku. Play Hankoku. Look at the top 3. I'm not going to use my leader effect, so I just want the draw for next turn. So this will be decent as like draw, effect, draw. Dong on Weevil, then one more Dong on Weevil, and then 8,000 leader. 2,000 counter. 6,000 leader. 2,000. 10,000 leader. Take one. 10,000 leader. Block. Judong. Nika! Minus 10 dong. Put everything to the bottom. And then leader effect. Get 1 dong. Nika effect. Rest 1 dong to get 1 dong active. And then let's 7,000 leader. 2k, 1k. And then end turn, I get another turn. Rest 1 dong for Luffy effects. Get 1 dong active. 10,000 leader. Take. 12,000 leader. Nope. Shit. So these are the lists that I used for this video. Just to go over the Doflamingo one briefly, I updated a bit for OP09. Some cards that you see that you might not usually see are the Red Rock, Vanilla Moria, and then maybe the 3-cost Doflamingo. People aren't running this, and I don't understand why. There's a lot of really strong top end and not much board clear, so having a 3-cost blocker can just effectively mean free life in a lot of cases. Hancock and Doflamingo, when you're at 10 dong, you can play one of them, and then you can play 2 4-costs as well, 1 out of hand, then 1 out of leader ability. So that's really strong. The Moria, there's a lot of Shanks in the meta, and Shanks doesn't feel too much maybe if you hit them at 5,000 power, but 6,000 power hurts a lot, so we're putting in more 6,000 powers to deal with Shanks. And then Red Rock, because there's a bunch of high-cost things. For example, Shanks is 10-cost Shanks, a lot of redpurple Luffy's thing. There's also purple Luffy in the meta, Blackbeard in the meta, and then Red Rock can get rid of their top end, so very good card in this meta, I think. So I didn't get to play Beckman or Luffy in this game, but this is a bit of a hard matchup where you're looking for really these cards and these cards, but I think that showing the power of Gum Gum Giant helps you get to understand why this deck is suddenly viable. I talked to a friend about the deck list. He helped me get to about 46 cards in this deck, and then I filled out the rest. Some of the interesting cards in this deck, if you haven't seen it, the purple start deck with purple Luffy gave Usohachi. And Usohachi on play, if you have 8 or more dong, you get to rest a 5-cost or less. This is very strong because this deck doesn't have any way to deal with the board, and then on the last turn, if you just slap this down, it's 3 costs to get rid of their blocker. Onami is another card from the start deck. Onami, if you have 8 or more dong, you get to trash 1 and draw 2, so effectively you've increased your queen count, and it's searchable in conjunction with queen later on in the game to just set up 2 blockers. It's very solid, and it also increases your hand by a lot. I have Beckman in this version because when you go second and you don't have a 7 cost on 7, it feels pretty bad. However, Beckman has 1000 counter, and also he can basically clear anything the opponent played the turn before, as it also just goes through any sort of KO protection. I have the event in right now. I've always thought it was a very good card because card draw in Red Purple Luffy is very important. But the issue is that it usually gets stuck in your hand, so having these cards now, Gum Gum Giant as well as Jet Gatling, debating whether I need this card, helps it so this doesn't really get stuck in your hand. I only run 1 Nika right now, because a lot of the times you get to just close the game with playing a couple of 9 costs in a row. This game I drew them a bit late, so it was a bit reliant on Nika to close out the game, but I don't think you need more than 1, because most of the time you're fine with the rest of this finishing the game. All in all, I think this deck is actually extremely strong. I'm going to be putting out a tier list video very soon. I'm hopefully going to have someone on that with me. It's going to be the culmination of my thoughts after playing the set for a couple of weeks, trying to play as many decks as I can, and I'm pretty confident in how I feel about the meta, even though it's not exactly the same as what other people are thinking in the meta. If you're excited for that content and content like this, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm going to always be here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!